So hello and welcome to the channel. We're going to dive right in today. I've got 10 casting sites I'm going to check out with you today in about 10 minutes. So first, before we get into this, I hope you will do me a favor and go on ahead and see that big red button right down there, right beneath where I'm pointing, that says subscribe. Do me a favor, go on ahead and hit that. Hit the little bell right next to it so you know when the next video comes out, because I'm going to be doing these videos on a regular basis, talking about acting and actor resources and ways to enhance and better your career, whether you are working on camera in Los Angeles, on stage in New York, or just trying to break in wherever you are around the world. So with that, let's go on ahead and dive right into 10 casting websites that you should know about. First off, ActivePitch. I was invited to get on ActivePitch by my manager at the time, a while ago, and I was told that this is a tool that they would mostly be using as a way to send out my clips and package me into show offers and stuff like that. Basically, I was paying the money for a tool for somebody else to use. I was already not a fan of that, but then when I looked at the activity logs, I saw that it really wasn't getting used. So what am I paying for at that point? I would log in and show you what it's all about, but unfortunately I canceled my account. Like if you go and try to log in here, boom, unrecognized username because I canceled it. Now, if you've got a different experience, if you used it to some success, or if you like it, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments. If I say that I don't like something or I don't find something useful, I always want to be proved wrong or hear from people who have had good experiences or who have been able to put this to good use. So yeah, if you have managed to use ActivePitch for something, please let me know. In a similar vein, Cast It Talent. Now this one gets a little tricky because I've heard from multiple people that this has been accused of being a scam. I don't know that for myself. I just know that there are a lot of folks who are on Yelp or Facebook or other review sites that basically just decimate this site, saying that they're basically paying for nothing, that they couldn't cancel, all kinds of other problems. I can just tell you right now from my own personal experience, I had frustrations where I would try to submit on a roll and would, all right, I can't do anything here because I canceled my account. I actually did manage to successfully cancel my account by calling in and asking them to cancel it. But I asked to submit on a roll. They say self-tape, which, hey, awesome. I'm happy to do a self-tape. But when you enter the email address to have the sides sent to you, every time I did that, I got an email saying there were no sides available for the project, which meant that there was nothing for me to self-tape, which meant that I couldn't submit on it, which meant that I was paying for nothing. So yeah, I can understand some people's frustration with Cast It for that reason. With that in mind, that's basically the reason why I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to use this site anymore. Moving on into Nowcasting. Nowcasting, oh God. I used to get so much work through Nowcasting, especially when I was young, new, and non-union. There was all kinds of stuff I'd get on the regular. And now I feel like the site has kind of fallen from prominence, fallen by the wayside. They're still using Adobe Flash on the homepage. Oy. I'll tell you right now, union notices fit for me. This should tell you everything you need to know, okay? Right here, just look up that. That's it, one play, that's right for me. Now, I realize I'm a character type. I'm 6'5", tall, dark, handsome, maybe? I don't know, you tell me. But this is not a site that I can spend money on if this is the only breakdown that I'm eligible for. I'm SAG-AFTRA, I'm Actors Equity. I can't just submit on non-union projects. But even if we just to humor ourselves, looked at just general notices fit for me, everything that was available for my type right now, yeah, this is just not a useful tool anymore. I did pay for a 1-month subscription just to try out the Postcards Now service because I was looking for easy ways to send out postcards to casting directors, and I've never seen it change from this screen. Moving on, HollywoodCastingandFilm.com. This is not a bad site. Hollywood Casting and Film, they actually have a physical casting location. If you're casting a project, you can rent out one of their rooms and cast your project. And one of the added benefits is that you could put your project up on their website and take submissions. The trick being that what they have on here is only stuff that's casting in their offices here. So it's rather limited. As a result, it's up to you as to whether or not it's worth the monthly subscription fee. And last I looked, the monthly subscription fee was $12.95 a month. I could think of better ways to spend $12.95 a month, but that's me. Your mileage may vary. If you know that they're getting a lot of people coming in and casting projects that you're right for, it might be worth it to submit directly. But I'm also not going to lie. I see most of the stuff on the breakdowns on this service also on the other major casting sites. You can build a profile on here. I have a headshot uploaded. I have my resume up. It is a little clunky though. I have, all my real clips, my demo clips uploaded, but I can't see which one's which. So if I want to update or reorder or anything like that, it gets really tricky. I really respect the hustle though. I don't want to diss these guys. Next up is one that you may not think of when you first think of casting sites, but it's one that, especially if you are a union member, you should know about, and that is Actors Equity's casting call. This is not something where you submit to a casting director and they call you in. This is actually a scheduling system that they use for principal auditions and chorus call signups. Really cool, in theory. It's not it's a well-designed site. I just know that when there's a big load on the system, that it has a tendency to crash, which affects New York, not so much LA or the other regions, because, as you can see, most of the stuff is in New York. So we'll go by Western region. Oh, here's all the things I could submit on right now. And now here it's, mail in your headshot and resume kind of stuff. But cool, it's nice to see that there's some stuff happening out here. Here's, Key Largo at the Geffen, that's nice. Now there's a drive I'd make. Or North Coast Rep, I've auditioned for those guys. So this is a handy tool. So if you're in Actors Equity, you probably already know about this, but if you're in Actors Equity and you don't know about this, you really want to make sure you're using Casting Call, because that's how they've modernized their system, and that's how you sign up for auditions these days. So good stuff. Getting a little bit into the more mainstream here, we've got Casting Frontier. Now this is one that, had it not automatically renewed, I would not have renewed my subscription. I don't mean that as any disrespect to these guys, but I'm not gonna lie, I've had a membership on here for 18 months at this point. I've never once gotten called in. That might be me, that might be my lack of credits, whatever. This is mostly commercials, and I'm focusing on 1 hour dramas. But, like I said, I've submitted and submitted and submitted and submitted, and I've never gotten even called in on this system. So it's not worth it for me to renew my membership, especially when it's $95 a year. So I will not be renewing my subscription, but the good news is I can keep my profile up there for free, and my representation can use it to submit me on their end, and they don't need a premium subscription in order to do that. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad system. I just don't think that there's stuff that I'm looking for on here. But your mileage may vary. If you're a commercial actor, you absolutely need to be on this system. Next up, IMDB Pro. Now, a lot of folks may not realize it, but they have casting notices on IMDB Pro, and you can filter them by project, by union status, to find stuff that's appropriate for you. Now, there's not much that's looking for my type, but when there is, I submit on it, and I actually wind up submitting my IMDB Pro page and all of my credits on here. IMDB Pro has all kinds of awesome tools that you should be using to track the casting folks you want to connect with, or track the producers you want to work with, or track the actors you want to work with, or track the projects that you're interested in. There are a whole bunch of tracking tools. It's normally $20 a month for non-union, but there is a code that union actors, specifically sag-aftra actors, can use to pay only $13.99 a month. So that's what I pay. And if you are a union actor, the code is posted in my blog on my website, which the link is in the video description. So take a look at that. Casting networks, better known as LA Casting, for those of you who are here in Los Angeles. It's mostly commercial, but a few years ago, in a big power move, the folks at Fox broke away from breakdown services and put all their breakdowns up on the back end of LA Casting, or Casting Networks. So there is more theatrical stuff on here. One of the cool things is that when you get representation, you can have a profile on here without paying for a subscription anymore, but not if you want to self-submit. That's where they get you. It's a double thing. The other thing about LA Casting is that it's expensive to get your headshots up. It's by the most expensive service by far. It's $25 for the first pick, $15 for each additional headshot. Not the first one on your profile. The first one you upload in a session is $25, and then it's $15 a shot after that. I have 10 headshots on my profile. That hurt. But once it's up there, and now you get a good looking casting profile, you get a simple URL for it, so it's easily linkable. Especially if you are in a major market, this is not an option. You really got to be on here. Backstage.com, one of the oldest in the game. Now these guys, they've got a great online system. This is also a great place to go for news, for articles about the trade. I mean, you're literally going to one of the trade magazines, one of the leading trade magazines, to learn about what's going on. I used to put your headshot in a manila envelope and mail it off to a casting director from ads I got in the print editions of Backstage West. And I booked work from it. And I actually have gotten a lot of bookings from work through here. The tricky thing is that you always want to make sure you're checking your inbox, because you're not always going to get an email notification or a message or an app notification that you have a message saying that you've been casting something. I actually did miss an audition because it didn't pop in the app. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to have that happen. So, I always check my inboxes, and I do, as a part of my daily routine, my daily ritual of doing my casting submissions. I do them with my morning coffee. It's $149 for the year, but they do have a lot of new sign-up specials for $99 a year. I also know that if you let your membership expire, you can take advantage of the $99 a year as opposed to renewing to $149. So disable automatic renewal and just, take advantage of the $99 special. That's just between you and me. And they may break that, but that's why I managed to do this last year. So I recommend it. Now, getting on to the main event. Actors Access. These guys are awesome. If you're starting out, if you've got a tight budget, if you want to get on one casting service, this is the one. Okay, this is the one. $68 for the year for unlimited submissions, or you could pay per submission. I think it's $2 a submission. Pay for the 1 year. Do what you got to do. Get the $68. It's the cheapest to sign up for submissions, although when it comes to uploading headshots, you get 2 for free on your profile, but then each one after that is $10. And then video clips are, I want to say, $22 a minute, which gets expensive, especially if you've got a lot of clips. But you can upload multiple clips at once, and it's by minute, not by clip. The tricky thing here is that they rank your placement when you submit. You rank based on the completeness of your profile on the back end. Okay, I don't have the ability to show that to you right now because I don't have an active project casting on here. But let me tell you, the more complete your profile is, the higher you're going to show up in the submission results. Okay, and that's crucial because I can tell you from personal experience that when we did submissions for Ada and the Engine at Theater Unleashed a couple of months ago, we saw 300 submissions per role. Do you think we clicked through every submission and looked at everybody? Yeah, but the ones that we noticed first were the ones that were at the top of the list. So you want to make sure you have a complete profile. And one of the ways you got to do that is you want to have your headshots up, you want to have your video clips up, you want to have your completed resume, and you also want to have these things called slate shots. But I shot my own. I got professional headshots done, but the slate shots were not included in the package. Some photographers will do that now, some won't. I recorded my own slate shots and uploaded them, and they are $5 per picture. The first one is free. So yeah, if you have a complete 100% complete profile, you will be in the top search results or the top casting results, submission results on the back end, and that's really, really important. I'll tell you, the day after I uploaded all my slate shots to my profile, I got an audition through Breakdown Services. It works, okay? And that was after having a several month dry spell. So I think it's worth it. The other thing is that if you are SAG-AFTRA, they have a deal now where they've negotiated, I want to say it's 20% off automatically applied to your profile if you're a verified member of SAG-AFTRA. You do have to put in your union ID number in your profile, but totally worth it to save some money, dude. Totally worth it. I have a complete profile on here, and I do my submissions on here every day, but so does my representation. This is the same system that representation uses for submissions. So definitely, if there's one casting service you got to be on, this is it. If there's 2 casting services you got to be on, it's got to be this and Casting Networks. If there's 3, Actors Access, Casting Networks, Backstage. Or if you're a commercial actor, sub out Backstage for Casting Frontier. Everything else is pretty subjective. There are ones that I won't touch. There are ones that are very specific, like Casting Call, Actors Equity. You only get it if you're a union member, but you automatically get it with your membership, so there's no additional fee there. So that's awesome. I also want to point out 2 honorable mentions real quick. First off, if you're a member of SAG-AFTRA, you can have an iActor profile. I remember when iActor started in 2009, I want to say. I mean, it's old, and the system still looks old. Not going to lie, it still needs a lot of work, but if you are in the SAG-AFTRA Conservatory, this is the system that they use for casting AFI films and AFI projects. So if you want to be working with the filmmakers of tomorrow today, make sure you have your profile set up on iActor. Now, you only get this if you're a member of SAG-AFTRA, but it's worth the time to put it all together and to keep it up to date. Which reminds me, I need to send them my agency update. And then, I'm going to give one more honorable mention here to Casting About. Casting About is important because this is not a casting site, but as you target casting directors for projects, as you target, as you create a mailing database and as you're starting to build your network, you want to know who's casting the stuff that you want to be involved in. That's where casting about comes through. This is where casting about is so important, because you can put in either LA or New York, whichever markets these are shooting in, you can put in, let's see, Jack Ryan. Bam, that's a show that I'm interested in being on. That's on my casting database. It's currently on hiatus, but it's cast by April Webster, Chuck McCollum, and Miranda Martinez. Oh, Chuck McCollum, he's a member of the Road Theater Company right down the street from me. I should go down and say hey sometime. Or Chuck, if you happen to see this, hi, want to buy you a cup of coffee. Anyhow, this is great because you can check that you want to track these people, and then what you can do is make labels for casting, for casting mailings. Or you could do what I do, and you could take the spreadsheet of the addresses and everything and upload them into MailChimp and use the MailChimp postcard mailing service to send out your casting postcards and design it as well. So yeah, what I recommend is getting on Casting About. It's worth the money because knowledge is power. And if you want to know who's working on what, they keep this stuff up to date and they will tweet updates as they go. I recommend getting on here and using it to build your casting outreach and target database. That's 11 casting sites in 10 minutes. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a comment. If you didn't, please leave a comment. Tell me why. I want to know more. Thank you very much for checking out my first video on here. I'm looking forward to putting out a lot more actor career enhancement content, and I hope you have a great day and get out there and book it, baby.